Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, the first thing we're going to talk about this week, as always, comes straight from the title and thumbnail of this video. You guys might have seen in the title of this one that there are a lot of big names in BMX news this week. So first up, we're going to talk about the Cory Berglar versus Morgan Wade game of bike over on Scotty Kramer's YouTube channel. If you've been living under a rock and you have no idea what I'm talking about, for the past over a month, Scotty and Cory and Morgan and all of that group of people and a lot of other people in BMX have been hyping up this game of T-Whip between Cory Berglar and Morgan Wade at the Dodson Action Sports Complex, the skate park that Morgan Wade built in Texas. Every set had to involve a tail whip in some way. They've been hyping this up for over a month now. They had a press conference, a literal live press conference before the event, the night before, where people asked questions. Scotty asked both of them questions. It was basically like a UFC press conference where both of them were sitting there and at the end they do the face off or whatever, and it did more to hype up the event. And then the next day the actual game of bike went down, and I won't spoil who won it for you, but I do want to talk about some things surrounding this event. First of all, the fact that it was organized the way it was to build all of this hype just got so many people involved and so many people excited about it. They did a jam after the game of bike, so it brought so many people out, so many people to support, so many people to ride, so many people just getting involved with this thing to make one really awesome BMX event for everyone that was involved with it. Brakeless TV got on board to help out with the live stream on Scotty Kramer's YouTube channel, which was their absolute best live stream that they've done yet. There was a slight audio thing at the beginning, but aside from that, there weren't any technical issues like the previous stream, so they're kind of getting things dialed in now, and it's awesome to see that because that means that they can do more things like this smoothly, and that moving forward into the future, they're just learning what they need to learn to make these events go off without a hitch. And I think that's one awesome aspect of it, but there's a lot of awesome aspects to this whole entire concept here. So the fact that they structured it like a UFC fight reminded me of this thing from the Come Up TV years ago, whenever that was a thing. That Catfish felt like what BMX needed was some kind of UFC thing. And he tried to describe it. He couldn't get an exact description out, but this feels like exactly what he was talking about. And I feel like it's really good for BMX to have these things when they're attached to a jam. You've got these guys who are playing a game of bike. It's a game of bike. You play games of bike with your friends at the skate park, and it's not this huge event that brings so many people out to come together and have a great time. So the fact that they blew up just a simple game of bike to be this huge is definitely something that I feel like there needs to be more of. And the fact that they're going to have Matty Kramer versus Ryan Nyquist, provided that Ryan Nyquist agrees to it, in a game of suicide. It's kind of a morbid title, but a game of the trick suicide, where every single set has to involve that between Matty Kramer and Ryan Nyquist. And if they hype it up exactly the same, throw a jam around it, get all of these people to a different part of the country and bring a whole bunch of people together to do something amazing, I think that is awesome. It's Scotty using his platform and the success that he's had in both YouTube and BMX in general to do something greater for BMX than he has before and taking it to the next level. And I think that that's what I want to take away from this, and how awesome this is for BMX. And I feel like everyone can get behind that. And I wanted to make sure that I highlighted it so that hopefully things keep moving forward, keep more things like this happen. Seems like recently there's just been more and more positive progression for events and different things going on in BMX. USL BMX is doing what they're doing with Blow Up the Streets, Blow Up the Park, and the Bike Dice, and all of the different things that they've got going on. Then Brakeless TV is doing something a little bit different than that, involving some different people. Then we've got Scotty Kramer doing this Legends League thing, and that's what he's kind of calling this, and having this game of bike and jam and all of that, and just everything going on that's so awesome that I probably am forgetting to talk about. There's more, I know it. There's so much going on. It's really great to see the positive progression of all of this stuff, and I really hope that it just keeps moving forward and keeps getting bigger and better, and there's more and more awesome stuff going on that anyone in BMX can participate in if they want to. Then after that, more big names from the title of the video. We had a video with Danny MacAskill and Chris Kyle called This and That, and basically the concept behind this one is, first in the video, they're riding street but in the woods on mountain bikes. That's how I sum this one up. They're riding natural transitions with rocks, tree stumps, basically anything they can find to ride, like literally ride street in the woods on these mountain bikes. Then at about the halfway point of the video, it transitions over to like actual street riding where Danny's on his trials bike and Kriss is on his BMX bike. I forgot to mention at the beginning, both of them are on mountain bikes at the beginning. Then they transition to the trials and BMX bike, and it's cool to see them riding similar and sometimes the same obstacles, but in totally different ways on different bikes with their different skill sets. And I get the feeling that they're both just trying to achieve the same thing in having fun doing exactly what they love. And this video is a great representation of it, and I think anyone can enjoy this one. Just seeing these two names that are really big names, Chris Kyle's a giant name in BMX, and Danny MacAskill obviously has a globally huge name. To see these two guys come together and make a video like this one is another thing that I feel like is just positive for every aspect of bicycles, really. Anyone who sees something like this and gets stoked and wants to go out and have fun riding their bike is always a good thing. Then moving on from there, another giant name that I didn't even have room to put in the title, most likely. There was an Unclicked podcast on Our BMX with Brandon Semenuk, another giant, globally huge name with all the viral videos that he's made. He talks to Dennis, Ryan Fudger, and Christian Regal is there as well. And they get into so many really, really good topics in BMX, outside of BMX, bicycles in general, talking about the mountain bike industry and relating that to the BMX industry. And that part of the conversation, I feel, is something that a lot of people should listen to just to kind of maybe open their minds a little bit and take a look at some of the, I wouldn't call them problems that we have in BMX, because there's definitely pros and cons to everything that they talk about in there. But there's some things in BMX that we can do better on, some things that we're too critical on in some ways, not critical enough on in other ways. And I feel like there's just a lot of common ground that can be found in this podcast that anyone who watches this, whether they're in the industry or outside of the industry, can listen to and learn some or reaffirm some thoughts that you already had, or maybe consider things from a new perspective. And I definitely wanted to make sure that I highlighted that one at the beginning of this news video. So that's the highlights for this week of all of the giant names that were in BMX news this week. So that brings us to the videos from this week, and there are so many of them to talk about this week, and I feel like I've talked so much already. So let's try and run through these as quickly as we can. First, we've got a video from Kink BMX called Miami Heat. It's a trip to Miami, obviously, filmed and edited by Daryl Taco, featuring Nathan Williams, Jacob Cable, Hobie Doan, Dan Collar, Travis Hughes, and Lorenzo Mesa, a name that I hadn't previously heard, but when you watch this video, this dude rips and throws down hard. He's doing some heavy stuff in there, and he's doing some like extremely technical tricks that like I thought were ending as another backlash was being thrown in. So that dude is amazing, and he definitely deserves to be in this lineup. And then I just want to point out the last clip of this video real quick. It's a double tire down a gigantic handrail to 180 that Nathan Williams does. And if you don't want to watch this whole video, just watch the last clip to see Nathan Williams' tire legitimately riding on the side of his tire where it's curving downward before he 180s off of this rail. It's insane. And the last few minutes of this video felt like the Hobie Doan Nathan Williams show, with a couple of the other guys having clips in there, but those guys were going off. This video is so good, and it was filmed and edited by Daryl Taco, like I said, so you know that the quality is there when it comes to the production value. He does such a good job filming and editing these videos. I feel like Daryl Taco is someone who's kind of underrated in the BMX filmer game. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that in the comments down below. That being said, I don't want to talk super in depth about the rest of these videos, because I feel like I've talked so much already. We've got a ton of them. Crone's bones are healed from S&M. Dave Crone, his wrist is officially healed up enough for him to get some new clips to make this video with. Then we've got Cam Child's 2021 Circuit BMX edit. Saw a lot of people raving about this one, and you can see why whenever you watch it, and that's why I placed it higher up on this list. Then we've got Masim Orsini radio bikes edit. In any video that Our BMX titles Master of Blank is one that you know is going to be good, and this one is Master of the Bike Flip. That's a trick that we don't see too often in BMX, so the Master of the Bike Flip, you know you're in for a treat watching that one. Then we've got I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name, but their Welcome to Fly video, followed by Joey Monsa's Miami Winter video, another Miami video with a guy who's kind of local to Cleveland now. He moved out this way, and he is an absolute shredder. Previous Rider Spotlight I guess you would say. He was in one of those videos. Montana Ricky talked about him. Then we've got Alex Deliba Kid, Sketchy, and Angles Tangent. This is Scott Marceau's full-length video that's coming out. This is kind of a promo hype for that. Then we've got Dan Foley's 2021 cult video, all self-filmed, Dan Foley style, with Dan Foley riding that you all know and love. Then we've got Powers Bike Shop at Woodward, their 2021 video there. This one's just under 11 minutes long, so if you guys want a little bit longer of a video this week, that's one worth checking out. Then we've got one that's a little bit longer than that at just under 12 minutes long called Whoops, and it's put together by Trent Lutzka, and it's got a couple names in there that you guys might have heard of that might make you want to check this one out. Hobie Doan, Brett Silva, Julian Ortega, Trent himself, Jared Duncan, Curly Main, Keaton Harris. You guys might have heard of some of those names, and it's just under 12 minutes long, so check that one out if you want a longer video this week. And that brings us to some product-related things from this week. First up, we've got Lewis Mills Eclat controller bar promo video. This one's 2 minutes, 17 seconds long, and the vibe with the music and stuff is kind of chill with this one, but if you know Lewis Mills riding, you know that it is everything but chill. So definitely check that one out if you're a Lewis Mills fan. Then we've got Kink's 2021 spring and summer apparel that was dropped this past week, and that brings us to the interview section where we've got a video with Matthias Dandois telling a story about how he almost ruined a once-in-a-lifetime role on a feature film due to an unbelievable ankle infection. The video is 9 minutes, 31 seconds long, so check that one out if you want to hear the story. And I'm assuming if it says almost, it means he didn't ruin the film shoot. I haven't actually had a chance to listen to this one yet, but I figured it might be intriguing to some of you, so I threw it in here. Then we've got one with Mike Gray from Haro called Bound by Winter, which is less of an interview and more of a documentary with him talking to the background of all this different B-roll, talking about the different things that a Canadian winter means, like surfing in the winter and an indoor spot that they were riding. And it's just a quick kind of glimpse into Mike Gray's life outside of BMX riding every single day in nice weather and kind of what goes on in the wintertime. Then we've got Kieran Reilly answering 10 questions from Daniel Dares. And then there's a little bit of self-promo stuff here, but I felt really good about the podcast live stream that I did last night with Mark, Flip, and then BMX Union posted it up this morning, so I figured I would share it with you guys. We talked about the world of owning a bike shop in mail order in 2020 and 2021 with everything that's going on, as well as the bicycle and BMX industries in general, his riding, and just a lot of different things that we covered in just an hour. And I felt like it went really well, so check that one out if you guys want to. That being said, if you guys have any thoughts on anything that I talked about in today's news video, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new here or you haven't yet, while you're down there, hit the subscribe button so that we can see you tomorrow for another video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.